Dragons Live, presented by Form Communications.
Hello everyone and welcome to Dragons Live. We've got an exciting show for you today. Joining us in studio tonight, head coaches Karla Nelson and Chad Walthall to recap their regular seasons and the NSIC Sanford Health Basketball Tournament. Let's start with the Dragon women. After starting the season with just 4 wins in their first 10 games, they got on a tear, going 11-5 for the rest of the season to finish with a regular season record of 17-12 overall and 14-8 in NSIC play. A large part of that success was the offensive play of NSIC first team selection junior Megan Rorick, and a breakout year for NSIC all-freshman team selection Drew Sanis. Rorick led all Dragons in scoring with 17.5 points per game, which ranked her third in the NSIC, as she also charted single-season records for three-pointers attempted and three-pointers made. Sanis averaged 7.2 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 1.8 blocks per game. There were a lot of contributors to the team's success in reaching the number 2 seed in the NSIC North heading into the NSIC tournament. Here to break down the women's success is head coach Karla Nelson. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So we're just going to sweep the first half of the season under the rug, and we're just going to talk about after the Christmas break. Your team got on quite a roll to finish out the season. What do you think led to that later season success?
Well, I think you have to go back to the first part of the season. It was trying to figure out exactly what we were basically going to be good at. And going through the rough start, I think what it did is it provided us a great knowledge. After Christmas, we came back and we basically knew that we could shoot the three, and we just had to develop our interior game, and that's what I thought really happened. And I also thought that we played with more confidence, better chemistry. All those things played a big part in the success we had after Christmas.
And that tear led up to a number 2 seed in the NSIC tournament and hosting a first round game in Nemzik, and you met Upper Iowa, a team who you haven't lost to in your entire time at MSUM, and got to have that in front of a home crowd. What was that like, and talk us through that game?
Well, we hadn't hosted a game for 2 years, so that was nice to host, and I thought we had a great atmosphere, so certainly that helped with the energy level for the players. But the head coach for Upper Iowa is a good friend of mine, so it's always hard to play a good friend, but it's also nice to beat a good friend. I thought we came out, we had good energy. I thought Upper Iowa did a nice job of trying to mess the game up, muck it up a little bit. They pressed us, and it took a while for us to figure it out, but once we did, I thought we got on a roll, and then really it was just the Megan Rorick show, just nailing threes left and right.
And from far, far, far away, usually.
Yes.
After that win, team headed down to Sioux Falls for the NSIC Sanford Health Tournament and to face Winona State, who you demolished 80-54 earlier on in the regular season, but it's the playoffs. You never really know what's going to happen at that point of the season. Teams are usually playing their best basketball. Talk us through that second round game against the Warriors.
Well, really, when we had first played Winona, they were coming off a big win against Northern State. I thought they played very tired against us here in Moorhead. So I was expecting a much tougher game, which we got a much tougher test down at the Pentagon. And again, it's a neutral site, different atmosphere, a little more intensity, and really what it ultimately was Heather Stracey going off for a career-high 36 points, 6 for 6 at one point in time from the arc, which is really unheard of for a post player. Mm-hmm. And I thought for the most part we did a good job with our poise. I thought we led for probably 39 minutes of the game, and we just did a good job of answering every run that Winona had. And it was a lot of fun to watch. And we had different people step up at different times in that game. But again, it was kind of the Heather Stracey, Megan Rorick show for us. But defensively, we did enough good things, and offensively, we shot the ball very well in that first game at the Pentagon.
36 points from anybody always helps big time. But that win set up the 93-84 win, set up the matchup against Wayne State in the semifinals. Wayne, historically a tough team in women's basketball in the NSIC, but walk us through that game a little bit.
Well, really going into the game, I felt like their experience was going to be a big factor. and our inexperience was going to be a big factor. And it certainly was. It felt like we came out very nervous, very tentative. Wayne State plays a matchup zone, which created a lot of problems for us. We needed to do a better job of attacking from the high post, and we didn't really. We weren't able to put somebody at the high post that consistently broke that defense down, and that was disappointing. But I felt like once we got into the game and into the second half, I thought we competed very hard, and that's kind of been the mantra of this team is they never quit. And I expected us to come out and compete hard, and we got outscored 35-34 in the second half, but I thought we adjusted, competed, and those are things that I wanted to see because really Wayne State just had too much experience for us at that point in time. But the great thing about that game is we can't replicate that intensity, that atmosphere, that experience in practice or a league game. So it's something that we can build on and from and hopefully move forward and be a better basketball team because we have to play that game.
And you have to be, and I know that loss unfortunately ended the season for you guys this year, but you have to be proud of what the team accomplished throughout the rest of this year.
Oh, very much. I mean, you saw how we started. It was a struggle, but again, we had to replace 3 starters. We had to put Megan Rourke in the starting lineup. Then we had to replace her off the bench. There's a lot of things that we had to try to figure out, and then we had to figure them out with some freshmen playing big roles for us. And from how we started to how we finished, I couldn't be more proud of a team as I am of this one because they really were committed to getting better, and they really did. And as a coach, that's all you can ask.
And now we have the always sad part of the year where we have to say goodbye to our seniors, but I say seniors, but it's really junior Megan Rourke is going to be leaving us for next year. Talk about the impact that she had on the program. Well,
what's funny is 3 years ago when she came into the program and I saw her for the first time in some pickup and some individual workouts, I thought, what did we get into with this young lady? And it was funny because as she's progressed over the last 3 years, she's really become, especially this year, just was a really good leader for us, played with great passion, desire. I always felt like when Megan showed up, we had a chance to beat just about anybody. And that's probably the best thing you can say about a player is when they show up to play, they're going to give your team a chance. And that's what she did. And I couldn't be more proud of her. I think she has a big heart. She's a very smart young woman, and she's going to be very successful in the future. She's brought a lot to our program. And what people don't realize is that she's probably one of the best players. I've coached All-Americans before, and she's probably right up there with some of the best players to play in the program.
Well, her numbers certainly reflect that, but thank you for joining us today, and congratulations on a hard-fought and a successful 2014-15 season.
Thanks, John.
When we come back to Dragons Live, we'll be joined in studio by NSIC Coach of the Year, Chad Walthall. Stick with us.
Valley Imports has something for everyone. It's that easy.
Another day. And just like every day, it never seems to slow down. But you have a plan. Grab a cup, grab the paper, and grab a little time. Just for you. It's worth it. Don't get the paper? Just grab the phone. Call now and save up to 60% off the newsstand price. Journalists, bringing the story home every day.
Welcome back to Dragons Live. The Dragon men's basketball team is alive in postseason play as they make their second trip to the NCAA National Tournament under head coach Chad Walthall. The Dragons set single-season records in wins with 32 and conference wins with 20, finishing the year at 32-3 overall. They were led by NSIC Co-Player of the Year and first-team honoree senior Jordan Reaver NSIC first team's Isaac Sievely, and NSIC second team's Aaron Lean. The Dragons were in the NABC top 25 all season long, including a current streak of 8 straight weeks in the top 10. They would eventually lock up back-to-back NSIC North Division championships and a share of the NSIC regular season championship with their performance. They are set to face the 7-seed Pittsburgh State Gorillas, who finished their season at 20-11, including an MIAA tournament championship to win and to get into the NCAA tournament. Joining us now, Dragons head coach and NSIC Coach of the Year, Chad Walthall. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Webby. Appreciate it.
So we're here to talk a little bit about the regular season, a run of 29-2, including the best start in school history. Why do you think this team was so successful this year?
Well, I mean, number one, you have to be really talented, and we've got a group of guys that are very talented. But you have to be more than that to string that many wins together. I think, number one, besides being talented, you have to have great team unity, have a great locker room. You have to have guys that really trust one another. We've got a group of selfless guys. And then you have to really be even keel because you play so many games and it is such a grind. You're going to go through some adversity. You're going to go through some things that aren't going to be easy, but you have to embrace those challenges. And we've got a group that when things get tough, they don't get rattled, and they embrace the challenge. And I think what you're seeing this year is a team that really has just been all in from the get-go. Great practice habits, very good leadership, got a good mixture of seniors and upperclassmen along with some youth. So it's been a fun year. Certainly they've done a great job.
And that great job ended up with, like we said, NSIC regular season co-champs, back-to-back NSIC North champs, and the number 1 overall seed heading into the NSIC tournament, hosting the first round at home against Wayne State. Walk us through that game a little bit.
Well, Wayne State, very talented group, except they're just young. I mean, they're 18, 19 years old, and they're going to be really good here in a few years. But anytime you're in this league trying to win with a bunch of freshmen, it's going to be very difficult. Now, this is a team in Wayne State that has gotten better and better throughout the year. And so we knew they were much better than how they performed, before Christmas or even a little bit after Christmas. But talent-wise, we just felt we were the better team. It was just a matter of us making sure that we respected the opponent, made sure that we had great preparation. They gave us a real challenge in the first half. We had a lot of difficult time stopping them, but we played a much better second half. They did flip it over a little bit, which helped us in the first half. It wasn't a great performance, but a good performance nonetheless, and it was good just to get that first round game over with.
And that took you down to Sioux Falls for the quarterfinals against Upper Iowa, a team that was much anticipated matchup earlier in the season just because both teams were similar in their shooting percentages. Both teams shoot the ball incredibly well. What was that matchup like down in Sioux Falls in the Pentagon?
Well, we knew we had to score points because they're going to score points, and they're going to play a high pace. They're going to make you make decisions quickly on offense because they're going to pressure almost like a high-risk, high-reward defense. And so if you get on your heels, you're going to run into some problems. So you really have to dictate offensively to them. And then defensively, you know they're going to take some bad shots, and they're going to make bad shots. They're going to shoot early. They're going to shoot deep. And I thought they played really, really well against us. We were very fortunate to play well because we had a difficult time stopping them because they're a very talented offensive group. And I really thought we played about as well as we could play. Unfortunately, we did because they were lights out. And, again, just to get to the semifinals for the second straight year was a feather in our players' cap.
And you edged Upper Iowa 94-87, and that set up a blockbuster semifinal matchup, MSUM versus MSU Mankato, that everyone kind of saw coming and was kind of anticipating that to be one of the biggest games of the tournament, besides the championship, of course. Talk us a little bit about that matchup and that game.
Two very evenly matched teams. I mean, Mankato's been there, done that for many years now. This is nothing new for them in their program. They have two of the best players in the conference, two of the best players in the country in their 5-men and their point guard. So, it was very similar to the game that we had here. It was a game where we got the lead early. They came back and made a championship run like you knew they would, and then really went back and forth for the last 3 or 4 minutes there. And it seemed like we had things in pretty good shape when we were up 4. Aaron Lean hit a nice 3-point shot, and we're up 74-70. And then, of course, they come back and they go to the line with about 9 seconds left, make both of them, and then we just couldn't get the ball inbounded. And, they did a great job denying everything. And so, they created a turnover, and of course, Monahan, their All-American point guard, hits a beyond NBA 3-point shot. And so, in those situations, we don't call timeout. We didn't have a timeout, but we don't call timeouts in that situation with anything more than 4 seconds left. So Aaron Lead made a great inbound pass to Jordan, which I really think goes unnoticed for a lot of people. The pass was just unreal. It hit him right on the money. So it allowed Jordan to kind of catch it on the run and then have plenty of time to get in deep into the lane. And then I noticed Matt Nelson kind of did a rub screen for Jordan, and they had it pretty well defended. They had 2 guys on him, but Jordan, he's very good in that mid-range float game, and sure enough, the ball basically dropped right through the rim when the buzzer went off. So it was a great game. I think it'll go down one of the better games to ever be seen in a Dragon in the Dragon program. So we were ecstatic. Unfortunately, we had to get ready for the very next night. But it was a great game, and it was well played by both teams. Really felt sorry for Mankato, and people don't believe me when I say that, but I thought they deserved to win as well. So it was just one of those deals where we had the ball last.
And I'm going to pick on you a little bit because I was there after the game, and I saw you kind of down in the dumps a little bit afterwards. You were kicking yourself about the inbounds call. Why? Just so people, who want to be coaches, hear some of this stuff.
Well, in that situation, we have a couple things we do to get the ball in bounds, and when they denied it the first time, we had to call timeout, and then that we didn't have a timeout after that. So instead of running one of the 2 things we run in practice, I designed something. And it didn't work out very well, and I was kind of kicking myself because on one end, you do something different all of a sudden than you practice, and you don't get the ball inbounded, and then they make the shot, and then something that we work on in practice all the time, inbounding the ball and just playing with 4 seconds or more to go. So it just proves, just re-emphasize the importance of practicing what you are and what you do. Sometimes you're going to have to draw something up, but more times than not, you're better to be safe than sorry and just do what you do in practice. And usually, more times than not, you'll be successful.
And undoubtedly, an incredible finish to that game, which set up the rematch everyone wanted to see, MSUM versus Augustana.
Yeah.
Walk us through the matchup, because they gave us matchup problems before, and walk us through that championship
Very tough
game.
matchup for us, and I know people obviously talk about those 2 teams because we have been in the top 10 all year for the most part, and the top 2 teams in our region. But they were very fortunate to get there. They beat a very tough Northern State team in overtime, and of course we hit a buzzer beater. So we were both very fortunate to be there. And I thought the last time we played them, we did not play very well defensively, and they really just took it to us from the get-go. I thought this time we played very well defensively for the most part. I thought we were really solid. I just thought their offense was better than our defense. I mean, I thought that was one of the best performances I've seen offensively by a team in my career. I thought they were just outstanding, and we really had some pretty good offensive stats ourselves. But they just shot the ball a little bit better than we did. I thought, their horses. I think they had 3 first-team All-Conference players. You could make an argument that they have 4 first-team All-Conference players, and certainly they have 2 of the best players in the country. I mean, you could take, Jensen or Schilling and make an argument for best player in the country. And so they were terrific. I wasn't disappointed in our guys at all. I thought Augustana was just the better team. I think they had a great stretch in the last few minutes of the first half that really helped them. Some hustle plays that were big baskets. We got into some foul trouble, and we probably played some guys a little bit more minutes in the first half because of necessity. But sometimes you just got to give credit to the other team. And kind of like the day before when Mankato had their 16-0 or 18-0 run, sometimes it's just the other team being really good too. And especially when you got 2 good basketball teams going at each other. So, our hats off to them. We congratulate them, and they've earned the right to host the region.
And that was an incredible game, but yeah, props to the Dragons for hanging in there. They cut the lead to what felt like from the facility 6 points about 2 or 3 times in the last 8 minutes there.
Yeah.
And you just got a vibe that they were going to come back, and unfortunately couldn't pull out the win. But the Dragons are still alive, moving on to the NCAA tournament for the second time under you as head coach, and they're going to face Pittsburgh State, as we talked about, 2011, won the MIAA, and you know is a team that, you know, I saw has kind of balanced scoring from top to bottom. Looking at some of their stats, not a whole lot of size inside. Walk us through that matchup.
Well, they're a team that's very hot.
Yeah.
They've won 7 of their last 10, which is saying something in that league. And they've won 4 in a row now, and obviously conference tournament champions. So that's the time you want to get hot down the home stretch, and they're playing very well. They're a team that isn't necessarily a high-scoring team. They probably play a little bit slower offensively. They certainly aren't a walk-it-up type team or anything like that, but you know, they certainly want to be measured in their offensive execution and make sure that they're getting something good. And then defensively, they're really, really solid. I would say they're a lot longer than us on the wings, maybe not so much in the post, but in the wings they're 6'5", 6'6" across the line, and so they're going to present some challenges that way. We've had some struggles with that. You know, and the other thing is I think that they force you to turn it over a lot. They give you a lot of pressure defensively. And so we're going to have to take care of it. If we take care of the basketball, I think we'll get some good looks because they will pressure you, and they don't mind taking some risks because they like to get up and pressure and get steals and have that create some of their offense. So if we take care of it and eliminate some of those situations, then I think we'll get some good opportunities and get some good looks. And so, you know, it'll be interesting. Like I always tell our guys, we don't care if we win 2-0 or 198. We'll play whatever pace is allowed. I think we're probably a little bit higher paced offensively this year than we have been. But, you know, we'll play, you know, we've certainly won our grind games too.
And, you know, obviously it's always great to make another trip to the NCAAs. That game is going to be in Sioux Falls at the Sanford Pentagon at 2:30 p.m. on Saturday. Hope everybody can make it. Tickets are available now. Just go to MSUMDragons.com. The last thing I want to kind of talk about is this might be the last opportunity we get you here in studio. So let's talk about the 3 seniors of your program: Jordan Reaver, Herb Bingham, and Prescott Williams.
Well, I mean, Herb Bingham from Detroit, Michigan, a young man that, you know, when he came here, was very raw in his basketball practice habits and basketball knowledge, and he just hadn't played a lot the last couple years before he got here. Really been proud the way he's turned the corner. You know, really got there toward the latter part of last year, kind of carried it over this year. Been a huge role player for us, backing up Isaac at the 5. There's not many guys and many programs that can have a backup at the 5 spot like Herb. You know, it just brings great physicalness, and you know, he's a formidable 3-point shooter. You know, very strong defensively in the post, very tough to get through him. You know, he's such a big guy, and really bought into our team system and our team approach. You know, and I think that's probably been his biggest growth, is just how much he has been a good teammate this year. That's really helped our program a lot. And then Prescott Williams, you know, kid out of Akron, Ohio, and was a junior college kid. And I don't know if there's a more selfless player on our team, because he's a guy that's probably our best defender. He's a really good rebounder. And you know, he's not Mr. Stat guy. You know, I mean, he's not going to impress you with the stats, but he just makes winning plays, and he doesn't care about his offensive stats. He just wants to guard, and some nights are going to be his nights when he gets to the rim and does his thing there. You know, I think we've all seen him get in the passing lanes and get a steal and go in for a dunk, and you know, that's kind of his game. And sometimes those games don't happen offensively, but he doesn't let them affect how he plays defensively. And he's just a terrific teammate, and he really gets the concept of what he needs to do for the team. And then, of course, Jordan Reaver, the catalyst. You know, I don't know, you know, if I'll ever coach a kid. I probably won't ever coach a young man that's maximized his talent. You know, Jordan's not going to win a 40-yard dash. He's not going to wow you with a jumping ability or lateral quickness. But what wows you more than anything, and probably the biggest compliment I think anybody can give an athlete, is he's maximized his talent. I mean, he's unbelievably got every ounce out of his ability that he possibly could in his college career, which I think is probably the biggest compliment you can give anybody as an athlete. I mean, he obviously co-player of the year. I'm sure he'll get national honors as well to some degree. You know, and the consummate teammate. You know, very, very selfless. I've had to actually told him he's hurt our team by not being more selfish, you know, because he's needed to score for us more this year. But, you know, there's been a lot of praises sung on his behalf, and I certainly don't need to do it. Everybody pretty much understands his makeup and his ability, but I don't think I'll ever coach a kid that's just maximized his ability, you know, to become the player he has. Really been quite amazing.
Well, thank you, first of all, for joining us here on Dragons Live. Congratulations on a fantastic season and a well-deserved Coach of the Year honor.
Thanks.
And good luck in the NCAA tournament.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll see what's on Doug's desk as many Dragons prepare to head off to Nationals this week. Stick with us.
Mr. Goldman loved his family a lot, didn't he, Dad?
He sure did.
That's why he had State Farm life insurance, like you. So his family never has to worry, right?
Mr. Goldman didn't have life insurance.
Why not?
He was just a goldfish.
Ignore him.
Call State Farm agent David Eggers in Moorhead today so your family won't have to worry about whether you have life insurance.
We put the life back in life insurance.
Outstanding teaching at MSU Moorhead.
The classes I've had have pushed me outside of my comfort zone and really allowed me to explore what I enjoy doing and what I'm passionate about, which is teaching. Discover more at mnstate.edu.
Progressive academics at MSU Moorhead.
We have every microphone you could pretty much ever think of, the stuff you see in the music videos, the same equipment you'd find at any studio across the country. We have that here. Discover more at mnstate.edu.
Forum subscribers, the Forum is now offering Platinum Rewards free with any newspaper subscription. Go to inforum.com, click on the Platinum Rewards link, log in, and you'll get instant access to dozens of discounts and coupons at a variety of local businesses. You can print the coupons or display them on your phone or tablet at the time of purchase. It couldn't be easier. Not a subscriber? Enjoy a free trial and see the benefits of Platinum Rewards. It's our way of saying thank you to our loyal customers. With Platinum Rewards, it pays to subscribe.
Welcome back to Dragons Live. Several Dragons are marching on to the NCAA national tournaments all across the country. Let's see what our own athletic director, Doug Peters, has going on this week's Doug's Desk.
Hey, I'm fired up. You're joining me for this week's segment of Doug's Desk. I've got to tell you, it's March, so what does that mean? I've got my Sharpie and I'm filling out brackets. Awfully exciting here in Dragon Athletics. Last night we celebrated the inaugural event, Dragons March On, celebrating all of our student athletes that have advanced into the NCAA tournament this week. We've got our divers who are out in Indianapolis. We've got our wrestlers who are headed down to St. Louis. We've got our male and our female track athletes that are headed down to Birmingham, Alabama. And then we've got our men's basketball team, where we watched the selection show last night, headed down to wonderful Sioux Falls, South Dakota. As we are headed in this busy week for championships, our teams are also all across the country. We've got softball and we've got tennis that are down in Orlando. Golf is over in Arizona. We are absolutely all over the place this week, spreading Dragon pride across the United States. The other things that we're working on this week are trying to plan ahead a little bit. We're going to have our unveiling of the design for our new artificial turf field outside of Nemzik Hall. We've got to nail down the final details of that before we release that on April 25th, where we're having a party where we're going to invite you all to. And then we're starting to try and get planned ahead for next year. Lots of stuff going on. I'll share with you. You can follow the Dragons through our mobile app, and you can get to msumdragons.com for real-time information, know where the Dragons are competing, know how they're doing, and follow along and watch as they do so. Stay fired up. It's a great day to be a Dragon.
We'd like to take a moment to wish all the best to all of our Dragons marching on in the national tournaments this weekend, and we'll leave you with another look at that incredible game winner by Jordan Reaver against MSU Mankato. Thanks again for joining us here on Dragons Live.
Monahan for the lead. Good! Dragons, no timeouts. Reaver! Count it for Jordan!